And welcome back, everybody. This is episode 6 of Kino discussion, I believe.
Happy late Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah, I think this will come out around. Nah, this will come out like 2 weeks after New Year's.
Yeah.
But
I
we're
hope
talking about
nobody's died yet.
Yep. We're talking
my
about all
bad.
the Christmas movies that have come out recently in theaters, and well, I just wanted to start this episode off by saying I want to give a big thank you to the audience and the overwhelming support of last week's episode. We had 1,000 views on our Morbius, Madam Web, Craven, and Sunshine episode, and
That was awesome.
That was just amazing. I never expected to hit that on one of these
Yeah,
this early.
I was looking at my phone ever since it was uploaded, like, hey man, those numbers going up.
And they ain't stopped.
They ain't stopping.
So watch it again. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
You probably forgot most of it anyway, so go ahead and rewatch it. It's like Madam Web. You can watch it over and over.
Yeah, send it to your parents, your family.
Yep. Coworkers.
Yeah,
boss.
yeah.
Put it on your LinkedIn profile.
Everyone needs a little bit of it.
Yep. So I guess let's just get started with probably the most disappointing film of this episode, I think. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I guess we should probably both give a little background probably as to... Yeah, I'll just let you take away your kind of... Because I think you're more invested in the Shadow the Hedgehog character than I am, and you have more... you care more about Sonic than I do.
True. It's just another, baby Sonic movie. To preface everything, I've, only seen the first Sonic movie, and I was like, it's okay. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's still a baby movie. And they just kind of kept that energy, I'm guessing, into this one. And it's just a baby movie. They got Jelly Roll in the end credits. I didn't even know that. Because when the movie ended for me, the movie ended for me, I was so ready to leave. I just left.
Yeah, I have seen the second film and the first film, and I agree with your thoughts on the first film. It's a dumb baby movie. It's like Alvin and the Chipmunks, but Sonic's there. I don't care about it that much. But the second movie, I remember enjoying. I don't remember if it's because of the theater experience, because I watched it with friends from high school, and one of my friends sneaked an entire sleeve of Oreos into the theater and ate it, and didn't feel too well afterwards. And it was like a later showing, so there were no kids in the theater, and it was basically just us, and the movie had been out for like a few weeks, so we pretty much had the theater to ourselves.
My theater had a bunch of kids, and I distinctly remember I watched it with a couple people, and I distinctly remember when the movie ended, I felt really bad because I said, this is such a fuck-ass movie out loud, and there were tons of little kids there. So yeah, no. I'm basically the worst.
Yeah. Well, some parents had to have a talk with their kids after the movie.
Yeah, they learned a new word.
My audience was actually mostly fine, though. There was a little kid that had to get up and pee 4 times during the movie, and I always thought it was funny because he left during the most plot-relevant points in the movie. So that kid probably had no idea what was happening at all.
Yeah.
He left during the Shadow backstory that explains why he's evil, and then he left during, the bit where him and Sonic are, friends now or whatever at the very end. Spoilers. So he came back from the bathroom and Shadow and Sonic were just fighting together and being cool and chill, and he was probably like, what? I thought he's the bad guy.
Yeah. So I guess from the beginning of the movie, I was kind of I was like, okay, let's go, Sonic crew, let's see what this movie's about. And I think it all went downhill after the general got blown up in the Chow Garden cafe. That was the funniest thing that happened. And then after that, it was being dragged by the ankles through the movie.
I like the motorcycle guy. What's his name? The guy that makes the they call him Goat Milk Guy or whatever, Dr. Robotnik's assistant.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Dr. Eggman's assistant.
Well, really,
he has that cool scene on the bike, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Well, everything that kind of surrounds Dr. Eggman is probably the best part of the movie, and then everything else for me is just kind of
lame.
Lame, yeah. I don't really care.
I guess we'll give a basic plot rundown. Shadow the Hedgehog.
I don't remember anything, man. You're gonna have to carry this.
I watched it like 3 hours ago. All right, I'll remember.
I'll
Shadow
try.
the Hedgehog is like he's an alien and he comes down to Earth, and Gun find him, and they're like the military people, and they use him for experiments, and him and so Dr. Eggman's dad, Gerald Robotnik, is like looking over this whole shadow experiment thing, and then his granddaughter Maria Robotnik befriends Shadow, and then something goes wrong, and one of the soldiers, Gunn wants to take Shadow away because he's too dangerous, and so Gerald Robotnik, Maria Robotnik, and Shadow all flee. But in the ensuing panic of them all running away, a soldier shoots a bomb and they all blow up.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Gerald Robotnik is like alive and he's locked in a prison, and Shadow the Hedgehog is alive, but Maria died, and Shadow really liked Maria, and that was his only friend. So now Shadow wants revenge, and then the General Man puts him in a
He puts in the
popsicle for
Cairo
50
chamber.
years. Yeah.
And I remember, like, at the very beginning of the movie, there's, like, or, like, after Shadow break out and stuff, and he walks on the water, and you're like, wow, that's cool, I guess. But, like,
Yeah.
there
Well,
was...
okay. Baby movie complaint number one. Baby movie nitpick number one.
Yeah.
They had only 9 people in that whole facility guarding Shadow.
Dude, they were on their break.
Because, no, they say the guys run in with all their machine guns, and then they all get soloed because they have to. And then the guy up at the top is like, calling reinforcements, and he's like, that was everybody. And then the camera zooms out, and it's like this giant city-sized, like, it's like a giant skyscraper in the ocean. I'm like, holy crap, there's only 9 people on here? And isn't this guy, like, a continental level threat? Like, couldn't he, like, blow up, like, a ton of the world if he got out and you got 9 people on charge?
Well, if you have 9 of the greatest soldiers, think about Sunshine, okay?
They weren't the greatest shoulders. Soldiers, not shoulders.
Well, listen,
shoulders. Soldiers. They ain't great.
Okay.
They can't shoot nothing.
Okay, well, they tried, okay, and that's all that matters.
It's a baby movie. They can't fire their gun. That's why Shadow has to throw his gun on the ground after he gets it for one scene.
Yeah. But I remember
Whatever.
there's like a funny race at the beginning, and then they do like it's like supposed to be Sonic racing Tails and Knuckles, and then they psych him out, and it's his birthday, and they're like, Happy Earth Day, and then you know, I don't remember. I just remember one part. They go back to Sonic's old home from the first movie. And
they literally just find it.
Yeah, and they just straight up give, like, what the message is for the movie, and they're like, it's like Sonic looks at his old, like, picture of, like, him and the owl lady that was like his mother or something.
Yeah.
And he's like,
that's really weird.
I can't remember. He was just sad, and he's like, do I belong, kind of thing. And then he was like, well, your grief either makes you evil, Sonic, or you become good person from it. And I was like, oh, well, there it is, right there. I wish I knew exactly what they said, but it was basically that. It was basically that.
I remember Sonic he said something about, like, it's in there. And he's like, Sonic's like, oh, in my lungs?
My lungs? Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, eye roll.
Yeah. Makes me want to jump to the screen.
Yeah.
I think my biggest... Oh, my bad.
Okay, go ahead.
No,
I was going to go plot synopsis.
Yeah.
Go ahead
Just
and say what you want to say.
My biggest thing that I don't like about the movie, and these movies in general, is that Sonic is a wimp loser. Okay? He's supposed to be cocky. He's supposed to be the fastest. Okay? He's got to be cool. And all he does is just crack jokes and then, like, lose whenever, you know, power of friendship, you know, he has to lose, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't his turn. It wasn't his time. He didn't believe in himself enough. Something like that. It's just like... Yeah. That's pretty much it.
I kind of get what you're saying. I'm not too familiar with Sonic as a character. I guess, like, the only reason I was really hyped for this movie... the main reason I was hyped for this movie is because I played a lot of Sonic Adventure 2 at my grandma's house growing up on GameCube. And that's like the most nostalgia I have for a Sonic game. That and like Sonic 3 and Sonic 2, because I had both of those on my DS on the Sonic the Hedgehog Classic Collection. And those are like the only games I could ever get past like the first few levels in, and like I never beat them. I might have beaten no, I didn't beat Sonic 2 or 3. And I never beat Adventure 2 either, but like I got kind of far in that one, I think.
Yeah.
But
I think
that's
I gave
like
up
as far as I go with Sonic.
Yeah.
I ain't
me,
played
those
Sonic
digging
R, I ain't
levels-
played Spinball. I guess I played a little bit of Unleashed, but I think I literally sold that game like a few months after playing it. I don't think I liked that game at all when I was younger. I think I probably traded it in for like Ratchet and Clank or like a game that was good, but you know.
Hey, I played it on the Wii and I liked it, so
I played it on PS3. They were different versions, so you may have played the better version. I don't know.
No, I don't think the Wii was supposed to be the good version. I remember there was like a certain part where it became like a text and a sprite, like what's it called, cutscene. It was just like really bad, but
okay.
Yeah.
I guess back to the movie before we get too off track. So the government shows up, Gun shows up, and they're like, hey, there's an alien in Tokyo, and he's causing chaos. And then Sonic and friends go and stop Shadow, but Shadow wipes the floor with all of them because he's cool.
He also has like a little stun gun, but that's the only gun he has in the movie, and like it looks cool.
And he
it's
uses
like
it
a
for
Glock.
one scene.
He uses it for one scene, and he also like stormtrooper aims like all over Sonic. Just embarrassing. Yeah. Embarrassing.
Sonic fast. Sonic's too fast.
I guess you're right.
But whatever, they lose that fight, and then they regurgitate the point of the movie again, and then they gotta go find a key so that they can stop Shadow from getting the deadly weapon, and then Gerald Robotnik reveals himself, and how does Jim Carrey's just hanging out, or Dr. Robotnik, or Dr. Eggman's just hanging out, like, under the water in a giant crab robot suit, or like a giant, like, crab mech? And he's like watching it, what is it? Like,
he's watching
Spanish
like
soap operas?
Spanish soap opera.
I'm like, that's kind of a fun bit. The rest of the movie is an occasional interesting set piece and a slightly funny gag, and then 30 minutes of nothing. That's the rest of the movie. I say, dude, this movie could be condensed into a 20-minute YouTube video. This feels like a fan film.
Yeah, like what even? I'm genuinely trying to remember what happens, because like...
So they find Robotnik, and they're like, okay, or Eggman. I want to call him Robotnik.
Beats them up, and then like, what do they have to find some like MacGuffin or something, right? And then...
Yeah, because they get the key card from the guy, and they're like, oh, we got to keep this safe, because if you get the other half of the key card, you get access to the most dangerous thing ever.
Oh,
and so Shadow goes to the original base where like he was held for most of his life, and then Dr. Eggman tracks Shadow there, and then they go there, and then Gerald Robotnik reveals himself, and then
because they team up.
Old Eggman,
they team up with Eggman because like somebody stole Eggman's little droids,
but it was his dad.
Yeah, and then
it would have probably been a little bit more interesting if he was still, like, he wasn't alive, like Gerald Robotnik wasn't alive still, and it was Sonic and Eggman teaming up to stop Shadow. I think that'd be more interesting.
Yeah, true.
I kind of like that dynamic, and it only really happens for like one scene.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna have to team up, Eggman.
Yeah, and then Eggman's evil the next scene, and then he teams up with his dad, and then unfunny jokes happen, and then they go and rob the gun place, and then they get the other key, and then they get the big destroyer, and I was like, how much of this movie is left? And I checked my phone, and it was 45 minutes left, and I groaned out loud in the theater, and then the thing goes up in the sky.
The big theme of the movie, like, between, like, I guess Sonic's lesson is that they keep telling him that they need to be a team.
Well, they also this is every kids movie trope put in a thing. It's like, don't revenge bad, don't be part of a team, make good choices. It's like all of those three morals like thrown into one, and the movie doesn't really focus on any one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, this should be the movie that focuses on revenge, because it's like, that's another thing. I liked there's a scene where Tom, one of the human characters nobody cares about, that just cracks jokes about donuts or whatever.
Yeah.
He gets like severely injured by Shadow the Hedgehog, and
he gets punched in the gut.
He's presumed dead for like a bit in the movie,
because
like, they don't confirm he's alive until the very they don't confirm he's alive until like a lot later in the movie. So Sonic just thinks he's dead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this should have been the whole plot of the movie. It should have been like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but they're trying to save Tom.
They're trying to save the random NPC.
Yeah.
You're my friend.
Look, it's important. It matters to the... I'm sure he's a character that matters to all the children watching, because it's like a stand-in for their dad or whatever. They're like, oh, he's like my dad. I get it.
He's like
I would be sad if my dad got hit too.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a cool fight that happens for 3 minutes, and then they blow up the space station, and then Dr. Robotnik sacrifices himself, and Gerald Robotnik dies, and what's his face? Shadow the Hedgehog dies too, so they all blow up. The end.
Yeah. Well, I was expecting
And then
Shadow
Jelly
to
Roll
die.
plays, and I my eyes just rolled back into my skull.
Like, but the
I didn't expect Eggman to die. He was the one I was not expecting to die.
Yeah, he'll be back for the next movie. But
You think?
no, probably not.
I don't think he will. Which, do we want to talk about that? Let's talk about the post-credits scene before we talk about how much more this movie sucks.
Okay, yeah. Metal Sonic, and then
Metal Sonic, and there's a million of them, and then Amy
yeah.
shows up, and she
Cleans
doesn't say a line
house.
of dialogue.
She just
And that's because she's going to be voiced by Aquafina, calling it now.
Oh no!
Just you wait. I'm calling
Dude, I
it.
can't
It's
do
real.
this. I can't do this.
That's
It's
real,
too
dude.
much.
I saw her, and then she didn't say a line of dialogue, and I'm like, boom, that's Aquafina's new role.
That's Aquafina.
I knew it
Gosh,
right there.
Who keeps
I
giving?
knew it right there.
Okay.
Worst voice actor?
Definitely, dude. She's like industry
up
plant
there.
level. I don't know.
She's up
Like,
there.
who keeps giving her like shit to do? Like, nobody wants her.
I still haven't seen that new Kung Fu Panda, and apparently she's awful in that. Apparently she's terrible in Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yeah, I have
yeah.
not seen Kung Fu Panda 4 either, but I want to keep it that
guess
way. Maybe
I'll
see.
I'll talk about my biggest letdown of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The soundtrack. What?
Yeah.
What were they? What? Okay, I don't know if you know this, but they got the same guy that made the Mad Max Fury Road soundtrack to make the soundtrack for this movie. Yeah.
Bro was asleep at the wheel.
I know. That's what I thought.
I didn't, because there's not like a soundtrack like notable moment.
Oh no, there is.
There isn't for me. There was nothing that made me
there
point
is
at
for
the
me,
screen.
because I was so disappointed.
They
played some terrible,
it's coming
awful
back to me.
remix. They play some terrible, awful remix of Live and Learn instead of the real Live and Learn.
Oh yeah, true.
And I hated it so much. I'm like, dude, like,
so
could
the
you literally
whole
not just license the song, or is that not epic enough for your movie? Do you have to have a stupid orchestral rendition of Live and Learn that just? I hate it.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I
good.
really don't like it.
This is what I'm talking about when I say that Sonic in this movie, he's not the freaking cocky asshole he is in like everything else, where he's just going out, he's antagonistic towards everybody. You low key want him dead. Anyways, I hated the Power of Friendship movie, he leaves and gets the Chaos Emeralds, okay? And he goes supersonic to go fight Shadow. And base Shadow cleans him. And he's like supersonic. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like he knocks a crystal out of him, and then, they go form together, and then they're both, it's like sets up that whatever. But that was just so lame to see. It was just so lame to see. And then
that whole fight only lasting for like 3 minutes, because there's some really cool choreography, but like that's what got people into the theater. That's what got people into the theater was the Sonic versus Shadow fight that was going to happen. And I remember the ending of Sonic 2, there's like a pretty big action scene, if I remember correctly, that kind of like goes on for a bit. And I remember actually liking that ending scene a lot. And I was like, hey, maybe there'll be like a cool like 10-minute long Shadow the Hedgehog fight at the end of this that'll like... I'll watch that clip on YouTube every now and then, and I'll go, hey, it wasn't a waste of $100 million. Look, something kind of cool came out of it.
Nope.
Nah, not really.
And then...
I guess...
When Sonic went to go get the Chaos Emeralds, Knuckles said something like there is someone guarding it, and he's so big and strong. And like I remember, I looked over at my friend because like we were like, oh my god, what Sonic character is this gonna be? And then it was just that random dude from like the Knuckles show, right?
Yep. The Flames of Disaster guy.
Oh my gosh, I was just so disappointed. And then it's it's the worst. Yeah. It's just the worst.
See, this is one of those things where I'm glad I'm not into Sonic as a character, because I probably hate this a lot more than I do. But I just let that theater be
so much cooler.
Dead, man. I kind of wish it was like an animated movie. I hate the live action stuff because it part of the movie feels like a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and then the other half does feel like stupid Alvin and the Chipmunks crap, where it's just I hate it. I'm like, this is really unfunny, and I know it's not targeted to me, but like, come on now, bruh. You can do something better than Donut Lord like... Tom, and you can do something better than his stupid puppet in the corner being a gag for like 3 scenes. Like, bruh, you can do better.
The Shadow hitting the obligatory like Akira slide up the Tokyo Tower thing was kind of cool.
Anytime anyone does an Akira slide now, it's like the equivalent of just like I just picture the soy jack pointing in my head. Like, yeah.
Okay, but imagine like a 10-year-old like seeing that for the first time. They have to think that's cool. You have to like mentally rewire your brain.
That's true.
But seriously, like the only thing that like made me laugh out loud in the theater was just like them at the Chow Garden, because I was like, okay, this is probably the best way they can like implement chows in this weird
hybrid,
and they're like sitting there eating, and then I was like, why the hell is like it's this like army dude here, and they're like discussing plans in the Chow Garden. He's just like, Sonic, we're in grave danger, and I need you. I was like, okay. And then one of the Eggman bots shows up and blows that shit up, and he literally flies across the screen and dies. That is just hilarious.
One of the scenes that got me is I think just the whole Jim Carrey doppelganger fight with old Robotnik and new Robotnik or whatever. I'm like, that was really funny. And then the ending of that being him like thrown into like the particle accelerator or whatever, and then it's just like a 1-frame close up of his face as it gets blown up. I'm like, that's funny. That's a funny little bit.
Or like when Robotnik he like lost against Eggman, and like who else was there? Did Tails show up?
Yeah, Tails was there.
Yeah, and like when Robotnik gets like thrown into the reactor or whatever,
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like he just disappears.
Yeah, that was one of the scenes that made me laugh. I think that fight goes on. I mean, the fight with Robotnik and Eggman goes on like longer than the Shadow Sonic fight. Like, you remember that part in the movie when, like, he gets, like, scorpion arms, and then the other guy gets, like, mantis arms, and they're, like, circling each other, making, like, animal noises and growling at each other? I was like, dude, this is just... I don't want to see this. Like, your bit run its course whenever he got, like, the highlight of the bit is you go from Shadow and Sonic fighting a million robots and blowing them all up outside to hard cut to old Robotnik with the giant hand spanking his son. Yeah, I'm like, okay, this is a funny bit. It should have cut right back to Sonic there, but it didn't. And then that fight kept going for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. I don't have much left to say about the movie. The end credits, I don't like the song at all because it's like...
It's Jelly
like
Roll.
It's just paste, dude. I feel nothing when I listen to it. It's like something I'd hear at the end of Alvin and the Chipmunks, bro.
Yeah.
I hate it. Okay, I think I'd rather watch the
It's
road
like
ship
it's
than I would
very
this movie.
it's soulless. It's just a soulless
Yeah.
like in credit song for a kids movie that like makes them feel, excited or happy that it's over. Like I don't
Yeah.
know.
I liked the visuals of the end credits though, with all the 3D renders of like they were kind of in their Sega Saturn style, where it's like they're not like full like 3D Dreamcast models. They're kind of like in between. They're still polygons. Yeah, I liked that. I was like, oh wow, that's a neat visual.
They don't care.
That
though.
looks. Well, I know that was done by like the intern that actually likes the games.
Yeah. I don't know, just like for a perfect Sonic movie, I feel like they would change it from like an 8-year-old movie to like, I don't know, like a 13,
12.
14-year-old movie. Like think about that. Like
Yeah.
make Sonic a little bit more cooler instead of just lame and like, like 5 years old. Like we got to grow up. And then like I don't know, like just make it Sonic Adventure. Like I feel like that's the whole thing that they're missing out on. Like have just like a bunch of different like cool Sonic like sets and just they go all over the world looking for Chaos Emeralds and stuff. Also,
and get away from this stupid like we're in the real world and all this crap. Like just make it dumb and stupid and cartoony.
Yeah.
Like I don't care what it's like. Sonic is an alien. He came from Green Hill Zone and now he's here. And I'm like, dude, this is I
hate you.
I never played Sonic the Hedgehog and I was like, wait. How did that mountain naturally form in a circle? How did that happen? I was never thinking about that. I was like, okay, this is a
cool.
cartoon land. This is Looney Tunes. He go fast. Okay.
Yeah.
And the movie instead is like, actually, he's an alien, and now he's got to learn how to deal in the real world. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't.
Sonic, you gotta grow up. You gotta grow up.
Yeah, Sonic, you gotta grow up. Give him a gun.
I'd say my final thoughts about Shadow is that he wasn't horrible. I didn't hate Keanu Reeves as him.
Yeah.
Even though I thought I was gonna hate it. He did not
I didn't
cock
mind it.
like a submachine gun like he did in the game, so that's negative points.
I wish he did. Yeah.
He
Negative
uses
aura.
a gun, but it's a stun gun. Yeah, it's negative aura. Somebody says "damn" in the movie. I don't remember who though.
It's Robotnik.
It was Robotnik.
Or no, it's not Robotnik. It's Eggman. It's Eggman.
Eggman.
That
Shadow
been
should have had a
Shadows.
curse word.
Shadow
Yeah.
Shadow should have dropped one. Yep.
Shadow should have said a curse word. Also, I guess like his Maria backstory stuff isn't like horrible.
Yeah, it's kind of rushed over though. It's really one montage in the movie.
Yeah. He's kind of just I don't know, man. It's okay. I knew he was gonna die. Like it's kind of like the Shadow thing that happens. He just dies. But it was okay, I guess. But no, it was less than okay. I didn't like the movie.
I was
at all,
about to
but,
say it's less than okay for me. I think let's just get into ratings. I'm done talking about this piece of crap.
Yeah. I don't want to
4
talk
out
about
of
it either.
10. 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
I think it's on the same level as the first one.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one funnier. The first one kind of funny in places.
Okay, I'll give it a 4 out of 10 too. And I think Eggman just straight up carries every single scene he's in because Jim carries that dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
everything
is
like super.
I liked the dance scene with both of them making their way through the
I thought their heads were gonna get lopped off.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I was like, dude, if they shimmy the wrong way, like their head is just gonna come clean off. But it's a kids movie.
It's a kids movie, so that wouldn't happen. Yeah, but whatever. Metal Sonic will show up in the next one. Something yada yada.
I wish there was only one Metal Sonic.
I don't like the army of Metal Sonics. I think that's dumb.
But they have to have fodder, just like they had in this movie, to make things cool.
Yeah. Whatever. The fodder made it worse. They should have had Shadow and Sonic fight for another 3 minutes instead of them fighting fodder for no reason. Whatever. I'm done talking about the movie.
Yeah. We gotta go.
I'm done. Nosferatu.
Yeah!
Robert Eggers directed, based on 1929 silent film, which I actually just did a little bit of research before the episode, and apparently the original Nosferatu was an unofficial adaptation of Dracula.
Oh.
So that's why they don't call him Dracula.
All right.
So, yeah. I haven't seen the original still.
Thing.
I was going to, but then I got too busy, so I didn't.
Yeah. I only know Nosferatu from, like, the SpongeBob episode.
Yeah.
Then who was flickering the lights?
Classic episode. Classic moment.
Yep. The classics. But,
the classics.
The classics trademark. I thought it was pretty good. We were
really
watching.
Liked it.
I really liked it too, and actually, I think my rating would be higher if I didn't have the worst people sitting next to me, literally ever.
Oh yeah.
There was a couple. There was a couple next to me, and any time the movie was like making me feel something, like I was like, oh, this is tense, or oh, this is sad, or oh, that they would just say what they were feeling. They would just, and it would take me out like instantly. They'd be like, oh, that was scary. I'd be like, oh, I hate you. And then, oh my gosh. Then the people at the very, very end of the movie, that was that was a lot too.
Yeah,
we can say what they said when we get to the ending, because I'm sure we're gonna plot synopsis it. But
to the left of me, so Blaine was on the right, I was on the left. We saw this in a theater with one of our friends. We were in the nosebleed section.
It was horrible. Those were the trenches.
Nosferatu was packed on the day after Christmas, and I wasn't expecting that. And we ended up getting tickets in the second row of the theater. And I was like, I don't remember the second row being that low. I'm sure it'll be fine. And then we got there, and it's literally like, I'm sure you've seen the images of people going to IMAX screenings and taking the picture from like the very bottom.
I took like a bunch of pictures of like a red one, like ad.
Don't say the forbidden name. Don't mention it.
But it actually, like, it wasn't the seats weren't horrible. It was just the people, because like at least I could just stare up and like watch the movie. It was like still at like an awkward angle, but it wasn't horrible. Like I could lock into the movie.
Yeah,
it was just the people.
But on the right of you had people talking the whole movie, and on the left of me, I had a guy with headphones in his ears listening to music. A guy with
did you hear him?
One of them had earbuds in his ear. The other had a full set of headphones on his head. And the one part of the movie that kind of ruined is there was a pretty intense scene when one of them decided to start opening a bag of Cheetos, and he couldn't quite get it, so he passed it to his friend, and his friend with his headphones on, with no idea what was happening in the movie, just ripped it as loud as he could. And I was like, man, I hate the movie theater audience, bro. You paid like $12 a ticket, and you're in here with headphones on, Family Guy clips going. Come on.
Subway Surfers.
Yeah. And I only really noticed them. I was so interested in the movie, I only noticed them like 30 minutes in, because my friend touched me on the shoulder and just whispered in my ear, look to your left whenever you get a chance. And
I knew that the people to the right of me were gonna be bad, because like when the ads were going, it was like there was like a bunch of like corny movies like on the trailer, like Novocaine and stuff.
Yep.
And they were sitting there. Yep. They were sitting there like doing like a dad laugh and pointing at the screen. I was like, dude. Oh no. Oh no, dude. They're out to get me, man.
Yeah, so let's talk about the movie now.
All right, let's go.
And then we'll talk about our experience at the end of the film.
Yeah, because seriously, like what the dude said at the end, like actually hurts my soul. Like I'm out here like curled up pleading. Yes. Okay, we can go though. We can go.
Okay. So Nosferatu. It's spoilers, by the way, and I actually recommend watching this movie. I think we'd both recommend it. So I would say if you haven't seen it,
it's super cool. It's super cool.
Skip ahead. I would highly recommend the movie. But it's kind of your basic vampire movie. It's set in like 1829 or 1839, around there, and it follows this guy and his wife. I don't remember. No, one of them's name is Thomas, right?
Yes,
And the other
it was.
ones.
I'm looking up their names right now.
Okay.
It was Thomas, and then his wife is.
Nosferatu.
Yes, I forget it. I forget his name. What was it like?
I know the
Lucy
actress's
or
name.
like Lulisa?
Maybe it was Lucy. I don't remember.
Hold on. Dude, I feel so stupid not knowing their names. Hold on. Oh.
So there's those two characters. There's that husband and wife, and then there's another husband and wife.
Oh, her name is Ellen.
Ellen.
I did
Okay.
not pick that up at all, but yeah.
So Ellen and what's his name again?
Thomas.
Thomas. They're newlyweds, and
Yeah.
Thomas is going to.
Do you want to tell them about the very first scene?
Oh yeah, we should tell them. I thank you
Yeah.
for reminding me of that
Because
it's
it sets up like pretty much
the
everything.
whole movie. This is the scene that they showed in most of the trailers, and the movie starts with Ellen, and she's like looking out, and she's like making a wish or something, or like some kind of pact with like a demon or like some kind of spirit or something.
She's so lonely or something
Yeah.
that she needs she's even calling out to a demon just to like have a relationship or something like that. Like she's cuckoo.
Yeah.
And so she does
And
that.
then Nosferatu Demon Man shows up in her window.
Windowsill.
And then he makes her go crazy.
Makes her walk out into the garden, and then
and
she starts seizing out.
Yeah.
Or like, no, does she lay down and then the jump scare?
No, she lays down in the garden. Oh yeah, no, okay, yeah, I wanted to mention that. The jump scare, I think, is like one of the few times the movie actually got me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get got by a bunch of jump scares because I think it's really cheap. It's so obvious whenever they're going to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And Nosferatu did it really well because it was like, oh, the scene I've seen from the trailer, I bet the scene's going to cut off here and then we're going to go into the actual movie. They're not going to spoil the movie monster 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
And it's not even really a spoiler like of like what the guy looks like.
Barely
it's like a split second flash.
Yep.
And I was just taken out. I was like, what the heck? He didn't even look human.
Yeah.
Like he was like, you know, it almost looked like he was like a gargoyle. He was like on top of like the window seal, like with his like feet on the railing, and like he was like lifted himself up, and I was like, ooh, he doesn't. And he had these he was obviously like he looked like decayed and old.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, ooh, that's a cool design for a creature. I wanted to see the full.
I didn't catch like any of his design because like when he's in the windowsill, it's just his like shadow and stuff.
Yeah, and his eyes.
Yeah, and then it literally only like shows like one glimpse of him, but you were like, damn, that thing ugly. And then that was that was all I remember.
Yeah, I was actually really scared whenever later in the movie they actually go to the Nosferatu castle.
Yes.
Because I was like, dude, I don't want to see what this guy looks like.
Yeah,
Because I was creeped out just by his, his design at the beginning of the movie, and I don't even know what he looks like yet.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really effective use of, like, showing the audience just enough, but not too much.
Yeah, yeah.
In the beginning of the movie. But the basic plot is... It's really well done. And the music there, too, is also really well done. I like the music in this movie. It's not something I would listen to, like, in the car, but... it's really well done with like the stringed instruments, because I think it's just like, I think I read it was literally just 60 stringed instruments and that's it, like in the score. And so it has this really like foreboding atmosphere like the whole time, even whenever nothing's really going on. But the basic plot of the movie is Ellen and Thomas are newlyweds, and Thomas, he has a job at a real estate place. And so he goes to his boss, and his boss is like, hey, I know you're a newlywed, but you're going to have to leave for 6 weeks, but it's this crazy big deal. And you're going to get a ton of money, and you're going to become like a big guy at the company.
You're going to sell this castle to a guy.
What's his name? Count... I
don't remember. It starts with a D, doesn't it? Or not D.
It's not Dracula. It's not a D. It's what's his name? Um,
Dang, what is wrong?
I want to say Monte Cristo, but that's like a different thing. That's a different book.
Yeah, hold on.
What is his name? Count.
Hold on. Give me a sec. I can find this.
You guys gotta forgive us this episode. A lot's happened in the past 3 days.
Yeah, man. Dang it!
What is his name? It's Count. I also want to say Morgoth.
Orlok! It's Orlok! It's Orlok!
It's Orlok. There it is.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
it.
Oh my gosh. I feel
So
5
Count
years old.
Orlok. And he's like, okay. And so the husband
Also,
goes
when
there.
he's sending him there, like he's like getting papers ready and stuff, and like on his desk there's like a bunch of satanic shit on it, and you're just like, oh no.
I didn't even notice that the first time.
No,
Like-
I literally like leaned over and was like, oh my gosh, it's so over. It's just so over.
Because it's revealed later in the movie that guy is like a Satanist, like, and he like summons dark spirits and stuff, and he's like a what do you call it? He wants to be like the right hand man to
He wants to be
the
Nosferatu's
vampire.
goon.
Yeah, he wants to be Nosferatu's goon.
He's goon maxing.
And he's
Yes, boss.
Yeah, he's like naked on the floor, writing stuff in his blood, like, you know, pretty obviously evil. Yeah. But that's revealed later in the movie. You don't know that
Thomas's
yet.
wife like a sylph. So it makes me
Which
think
I
that
didn't
he
even know what
knows.
that meant. Like, what is the dictionary definition of that? I don't know what that is. Because they mentioned that in the movie, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually do not know what that is.
Let me think. It's like
A graceful woman or girl.
yeah.
A slender young woman or girl who moves with grace and lightness.
It's
Okay.
like in folklore, one of a race of supernatural beings supposed to inhabit the air. I don't know. Just they are like otherworldly and magical power kind of thing is what I kind of picked up.
All right.
Which is true.
So, Thomas has got to head off to, like, Transylvania.
And also his
And-
wife is like, please don't leave me. I have bad dreams
Yeah.
when you're not here, and I'm gonna start tweaking out, and I'm gonna die, and I'm gonna explode. You know.
And he's like, listen, you're going to go stay with Aaron Taylor Johnson and his totally normal family that are all mentally stable. And you're going to stay with Aaron Taylor Johnson and his wife and his 2 kids with a third on the way.
Also,
Well,
when
what am
nothing. It was
Okay.
just I wanted to geek out about the movie a bit, but like I remember exactly when Thomas goes to visit Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. I'll find his name eventually, but
I'm not going to remember.
That's
his name,
when
I'm just
I-
gonna call him Aaron Taylor Johnson.
that's when I noticed like how pretty the movie looked, because it was like one of those scenes. It was just like the way he's able to use lighting and stuff.
I was
like,
about to say the lighting
in the
was kinda-
1860s
Yeah.
setting of like a house dimly lit at nighttime, but it's like still lit well enough for like, you know, accompaniment and like, you know, Thomas being there. Like it's so good. It's like the difference of like an LED light in a movie and then like the yellows and stuff. Like I just thought it was so cool. But yeah, you can continue. My bad.
Yeah, I was a big fan. And we have a lot to say about this movie, so I'll kind of try to get through like the basic kind of plot set up pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it's basically Thomas goes to Transylvania and he meets some like people and they're like, hey, don't go to that castle, it's evil.
It's crazy.
And then
crazy.
They all disappear the next morning and he's like, that was weird and I had a weird dream. Which I guess here's the next stopping off point. The dream sequences in this movie.
Oh yeah.
So we the audience know, like, by this point in the movie, we don't know that these aren't dream sequences and these are actually happening yet. Mm-hmm. So there's a scene where the husband guy lays down and he wakes up and he's like, oh, there's a lot of people and this naked woman on a horse and they're going out to the thing chanting something, and they go and they stab this dead guy in a coffin and he throws up all over himself. And they're talking about like some vampire stuff, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Like the virgin lady was like supposed to
a
be
sacrifice,
a sacrifice to
yeah.
the vampire demon. I don't know.
I don't know what she was gonna do really, because the vampire
He
was
also
like dead.
I thought it was foreshadowing too, because he like screams out no when the vampire dies, or like good heavens, or like something like that. Something
Yeah.
somebody would say back then, and everyone looks at him, and that's when he wakes up.
Yeah,
But,
and you're like, wow, what a weird dream he had. And then the camera pans out and it shows like nobody's there, and you're like, wait, maybe they all really did leave and do that. And then it just shows his like feet covered in like mud, and you're like,
yeah.
oh no, he went out there and he doesn't know it. And that really sets up like really well without Thomas directly talking to the viewer and going, huh, I had this weird dream last night, but it's like it really happened. It's like, no. We get that from just like 2 shot compositions. Like we understand, we know what he feels and we know what happened. Like
if
in
this
reality.
was a Tubi original, he would say, I'm having horrible dreams and I don't know what's going on.
If this was a Tubi original, he would have pulled out his machine gun by now and just mowing down the vampires, bro.
You're right. He'd pull out his wooden stakes.
Yeah. He pulls out his, he goes to the castle, and I think this is probably my favorite bit
Oh,
in the
his
movie.
horse is missing, so he has to travel on foot the rest of the way. And that's when, like, a mysterious carriage shows up and takes him there.
Yeah. Like, all the weird, like, gothic stuff. Like, there's, like, the hounds that are chasing him around, and, like, the carriage, and then, like... what's some of the other... There's like a gargoyle statue that moves at one point in the movie.
When
they're like in the fire, like
they're
like near the
a
fireplace.
bit after he meets Nosferatu, and he gets that nat 1 and just cuts himself and starts bleeding. That's when the statue and that's probably the scariest part in the movie for me, because like the statue had moving. Oh no, it was just rough.
Yeah.
Had me
Count
pleading
Orlok,
for
his
Thomas's
eyes
life.
like dilate, like his eyes go like pure black whenever he like smells the blood. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like I love that entire scene of him showing up to Orlok, and he's like, you call me Lord, and the whole time he's just like, he just keeps rolling nat ones. He can't do anything, bro. He's like, his lips are quivering, he can't do nothing. He's like, oh yes sir. No, you call me Lord. You keep forgetting. Sorry, my lord, sorry. Mm-hmm. And he's like, he just keeps fumbling over everything, and you really understand in that moment, like, how he feels, because you, the audience, you feel the same way, because this castle is, like, it's terrifying, and I love the set design. It's great.
Also, like, the room that they're in, like, for most of the time, like, the table that they eat at and stuff, it looks like almost, like... he set up that table like just for that moment, because the room is like not decorated at all. It's literally just like, it's kind of like just their little set in front of the fireplace, because there's a chair there, and then they have their table where they sit. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Count
there's
Orlok
like another
keeps
room.
going like, Count Orlok keeps going like, oh well, you can't leave at night. What kind of host would I be? You should stay the night. And then like, something weird will happen, and then I keep wanting to call him Tucker, but that's not his name. What is his name? Thomas. Thomas will wake up with like a bite mark on him, and he'll be like, that's weird. And you, the viewer, are like, yep, okay, he's gonna become Vampire Man. Yeah. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna leave, and Nosferatu's like, yeah, well, why don't you stay another night? And Thomas is like, okay. And he stays another night. He has another bite mark, and he's like, okay.
His wife gave him like a pendant with her hair in it.
Yeah.
And Nosferatu, knowing that was, the chick that he, I guess like married, demon married. Yeah. He notices instantly, and he's like, give me that shit. And he like huffs the pendant, and he's like, oh. Uh-huh. Oh, like tweaking out over her. And I think like at a certain point of his stay there, he has to sign the papers. And were the papers the papers were for signing over his wife, right?
It wasn't his wife, it was for signing over the property, so that he could move to whatever place they're from. I don't remember where they're from.
I know that like later in the movie they use that as like a moment. Like Nosferatu uses the paper signing thing as like um leverage and weight on the wife to make to make her not trust her husband kind of thing. But like there had to be something going on with his soul there, right? Because they made it.
That's entirely
look that
possible.
Way.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering the legitimacy of Nosferatu saying that, because it's very likely that he just signed that paper looking at the money, just wanting to leave.
Yeah, that's also true, because he gives him a fat stack.
Yeah, he shows a fat stack coins. And then he points at the paper with his big fingernail.
Yep. And there's so now John Mann has had enough. Okay, what's his name?
Thomas
has had enough. He's like, I'm done. So I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna escape this crazy castle.
Well, does
but
he
first
just,
I gotta
he
go
just
down
wakes,
this. But first I gotta go down this
tweaking?
spooky cellar. Yeah.
He tries to leave from the front gate, and he's running like a maniac through the castle, which is terrifying, because you're in Dracula, you're in Nosferatu castle, bro. And you're stomping around like that. Chill.
Yeah, he ain't being stealthy at all. Yeah. He's full sprinting out. And then he finds where Nosferatu sleeps in the coffin, completely naked. And I was expecting. I don't know if this is in the original, but there's a lot of Nosferatu slong in this movie. If he's on screen, he's probably naked.
He got his dick out.
So the whole movie.
I
was not expecting that. And that's another thing I thought was kind of interesting. I always kind of imagined, I'm sure the original Tale of Dracula. I haven't read the original Bram Stoker's Dracula because I'm not a friggin' nerd.
Yeah.
I haven't read the book from the 1800s or whatever.
Yeah.
But I always kind of imagined I'm sure it's kind of like the the Grimm fairy tales things where it's a little bit darker than the adaptations we know nowadays, but probably not by much,
Mm-hmm.
And then in the 60s he got turned into a campy movie monster where he's I'm going to suck your blood,
Mm-hmm.
And then that was not in the 60s, that was in the 30s or 40s, I think. The Universal movie monsters era with Bride of Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon and The Mummy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then the 70s happens, and then it's okay, we're making Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it's going to be super hypersexual and all this stuff. So I always kind of imagine that stuff, that the hypersexual aspect of Dracula kind of came from the 70s onward.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I was really shocked. Book of Dracula had a lot of that in it.
A lot more rape than I was expecting in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I was just kind of under the impression where I'm you know what? I don't know why. I was just I don't think this one's, because vampires now are kind of, after Twilight and everything, that's kind of portrayed as oh, they're sexy, and I'm I bet this is going to be a pretty straightforward horror movie, and with Nosferatu, and I bet it's going to be an interesting period piece, and I was not expecting all the slong. I was not expecting it.
He got his thing out.
In 4K.
I caught it every single time too.
Oh, it's hard to miss it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was not expecting that. And
you big old dude. What can we say? Oh yeah, but
so Thomas leaves.
Yeah. Well, no, Thomas
he tries to stab Nosferatu, and he catches that midair.
Oh yeah,
and he's
it was cold too.
He goes and then Thomas got a full sprint out of there, and then he falls down a hill.
No stamina.
Oh wait, no, actually he runs. He runs back into the castle. That's right, and then he falls off. He runs out the room from a window, and he falls off into a river. And then he washes up into a forest. What?
No. He runs into a room and locks himself in there. And then Nosferatu uses his shadow to like basically hypnotize him into unlocking the door.
Oh yeah,
because that's when they show like a blood sucking scene. Because he like Nosferatu lunges at this dude.
That's
and
right.
it's just the most like nasty like sounds of him just getting his like you'd have to imagine the anatomy of like a vampire having to like like just drink that fluid,
Uh-huh.
And so it just like this nasty ass sound, and then that's like, yeah, there was that.
Yeah, I like the sound design in this movie a lot. With Nosferatu, it's very creepy.
And then his wife, it like goes back to his wife, and his wife is like,
I was about to say
something bad is happening.
His wife has kind of been tweaking out the whole time.
Yeah, basically the whole time his wife has been doing horrible. It introduces the doctor character because he goes in and he's just a normal Chad doctor. I was not ready for him to be as goated as he was in the movie, but he was just a Chad doctor. He was like, yeah, we need to give her more magnesium. I don't know, and just
knock her out more,
and all this stuff, and like don't and he's just doing like an honest doctor's approach to a crazy person.
And Aaron Taylor Johnson in the corner like, well, you should try the leeches again. I think that'll work this time. Should we keep her restrained 24/7 and tied to the bed? Maybe that'll fix everything.
Can we saw her arms off? Her arms and legs off? Yeah. So I think like after that, it cuts back to Thomas. He wakes up from the floor, still alive somehow.
Like, he's like in the witches like area, and they're like, we told you not to go there.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, and they're like, you need to stay here so that you can heal. And he's like, nah, and then
They're
leaves.
coming after Ellen. I know this. He's coming for her.
And then Dracula puts himself in a big old box, and he ships
Dio
himself.
style.
Yep, Dio. I mean, this is where it comes from. Yeah, he ships himself in a box overseas, which that is also one of the scariest scenes in the movie.
Yes, the boat
honestly,
stuff.
It makes me want to watch because this year there was The Last Voyage of the Demeter, the horror movie all about that first chapter of Dracula where he's on the boat.
Oh,
apparently the movie sucks, but it's like that scene in Nosferatu, like stretched to like an hour and a half.
I don't know, just
where it's like you slowly see the crew kind of like turn and the plague slowly infects. I kind of imagine it's like. Imagine The Thing mixed with Dracula on a boat in the 1800s. I'm like, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's kind of slowly getting sick. Everyone's getting tired of each other. They're all getting angry. And they're like, what the heck is going on? And they're all trying to figure it out. But you, the audience, know something's not right.
Yeah. And I also
I'm kind of interested in watching that movie now. While
Dracula... Also, the lighting and, like, all of the scenes, like, from this point forward. I mean, like, it was especially great at the beginning, but just the whole movie.
Yeah.
But just, like, because really, like, when I start to think of a scene, I'm like, holy shit, that's a standout. But really, the whole movie is just shot that well and, like, has such good lighting and, like, there's just, like you said, like, when we left, like, there's just dread and, like, everything.
Yeah.
He makes sure that it builds over the course of the film, just like these super just bleak, dark sets, and just like your eyes can like barely make out silhouettes of people, and characters that are focused are more lighted than others, but in like a I don't know, but
they don't have a spotlight shining on them. They've got like a little flame that's like flickering in the cold, so it's like very inconsistent what part of their body's lit up, so your brain has to fill in where they're not like currently being lighted.
Yeah. You're like constantly looking in the shadows for something too. Which I feel like that's missing from a lot of movies like nowadays, at least for me. I always like looking at in the background like, ooh, is that going to be something? And that usually always gets me like more paranoid, but I mean I guess I know why they wouldn't do it in this one. It's, more direct, but
yeah.
When Nosferatu's on the boat, and what's happening then? Like the doc, he gets the one guy that sent Thomas on the that one mission, right?
Yeah, the one guy that's
him and
put
he's
him up in a cell. And rats.
Yeah, he killed like 2 sheep with his bare hands and like
aced them. Yeah.
So they locked him up, and then they come up to him and they're like, what was it? There was like one part, and it's like he has like this pigeon and they're talking to him and he's he's just sitting there like hitting the no, Nosferatu is coming. He's coming. He's going to kill everybody. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. And he bites off the head of a pigeon. And I remember the doc was like, "Now, good sir, why would you do that?" And I thought that was funny.
One thing I kind of don't like about that scene is that the pigeon's head like keeps squirting blood like ketchup like constantly, and I'm like,
yeah.
I kind of wish it just shot it once and then it just like leaked out and it wasn't like constantly squirting on his face like a water gun. I think that was
maybe you should bite the head off of a pigeon and see how much it squirts blood out. I was going to say, what do I know? For all I know, Robert Eggers may have just made his own pigeon decapitator in his house and studied how this would work. Exactly.
I don't know. But just from me, moron with no biology degree who don't know nothing about anything.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, though. I thought it was a little cartoonish. It's
a little cartoonish in this movie that's very not cartoonish.
Mm.
But yeah, then Nosferatu shows up and like a plague kind of starts going around. And then the doctor guy is like, okay, look, we got to go find my doctor. We got to go find the guy that trained me because this stuff is getting weird and out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And then that's where Willem Dafoe's character shows up.
Yeah. And there was something like Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's like asking the legitimacy of the doctor and stuff, and he's like, well, he got kicked out of the school technically, and, he's not a teacher because, he was, mastering the dark arts and, magic and all that stuff. And Aaron Taylor
Johnson really like how they I can't remember what the line of dialogue was, but they said something like, he was studying the works of all these different people, and Aaron Taylor Johnson's like, yeah, put it in a language I could understand. Like, explain it to me, the layman. And he's like, dark arts. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's a really clever way to tell both the character and the audience, hey, this is what he was studying, without being very direct and blunt and making this guy sound like a moron.
Yeah, because his character is kind of just the most, I don't know, normal. Like, if you'd like picture an 1860s like highbrow like rich dickhead.
Yeah. Hates his wife, is sexist.
Yeah. You basically
he's the model 1800 citizen.
Yeah, you know that he's just he's just the opinion of everybody in that time.
Yeah.
He's like rolling his eyes at, every single moment.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good friend to Thomas though. At the very least, that was the one thing I kind of was hoping didn't happen, because because of circumstances. You can continue.
Yeah, but Willem Dafoe shows up, and I think he's probably the highlight of the movie. Like,
oh, he's great.
He's phenomenal. He's such a great actor, and pretty much the rest of the movie is they try and figure out what's causing it, and then Willem Dafoe is like, it's Nosferatu. I've read about this in one of my ancient journals. Look, here it is. And there's like a prophecy that it's like going to kill the girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nosferatu shows up to Ellen's house and he's like, in 3 days you have 3 crazy nights that are going to happen.
3 crazy nights!
1, 2, 3! And
3 Nosferatu dicks on your screen!
3! 1, 3! But yeah, then the movie kind of just turns into like a race against time, as Nosferatu's like, all right, on the first day I'm gonna kill everybody you love, and then on the second day this is gonna happen, on the third day the most unspeakable thing is gonna happen. So you're like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And then like the plague starts, and the plague gets worse, and the plague infects like people that are close to her, and then Nosferatu just shows up in her house that she's staying at with Ellen, or Ellen is staying at with like her friend, and he kills her friend and like her 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like Aaron Taylor Johnson and Ellen and Thomas and Willem Dafoe, and then Dr. Man. And it's all of
Thomas
them.
also already returned like within the time of like,
I guess,
Nosferatu
when the boat gets
back.
Yeah.
But he's like extremely like exhausted, because like you have to imagine like they have no. Did
he get another horse? Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I think he stole one of the horses from the ladies.
Yeah, But they didn't have no Apple CarPlay back then, no Tesla. So he was thugging that shit out in like a t-shirt basically for weeks getting back. So he's like exhausted. Which is a smart way to take him out the movie, I think.
Yeah. And so whenever he gets back, he's like delirious. So he can't just go, hey guys, Nosferatu's on that ship. Don't let him do that. It kind of makes sense that he wouldn't be immediately like, that's his first concern. So
yeah.
But yeah, Nosferatu shows up in his box, and his buddy is there. His goon is there.
He wheels him off.
And they go to the castle.
Nosferatu cave.
The castle that he bought. And so they're like, okay, Willem Dafoe figures out that's where he's at. And he's like, all right, we're going to go burn it down. We're going to go kill Nosferatu, but we have to do it during this time, and we have to stab him with this and all that. We have to do all the vampire stuff, you know. You got to stab him in the heart. He's sleeping in the daytime.
The first night where the Aaron Taylor Johnson's like family dies? Because that was one of the coolest.
Oh yeah, no, I mentioned that.
You did. Because I just wanted to mention that like, him walking in on his daughters was like that was a cool scene. Like I know that's like very morbid, but like. Those two lifeless little girls being sucked, all the blood being sucked out of them, that was low-key cold.
Yeah.
Anyways, my bad. You can continue.
But, okay, where was I? Okay, yeah, they're going to the castle. So they're like, okay, we gotta stab him in chest. He's gonna be asleep during the day. He's gotta be in his coffin. So, let's go get him.
We gonna get him.
And then they go, squad rolls out. And then they go get ready to get him. Yeah. And it turns out it was all a ploy. And Willem Dafoe kind of knew that the only way to stop Nosferatu would be to let him have Ellen. But he also wants to get rid of this stupid goon as well. So he kills the goon and he burns down like that castle, right? Or like part of the castle. Like the cemetery area or whatever.
Yeah.
With all the rats. And
kill them all.
The daylight starts to come up on the end of the third night.
And Thomas is tweaking out because he knows where Nosferatu's going to. Because I think Willem Dafoe's character kind of says that like
that's the only way
in the prophecy. Yeah, in the prophecy, basically Nosferatu, he's like just drawn towards her. Like in her blood, like more than anything, it's like almost second nature for him to like go after her blood more than anyone else's. Yeah. So yeah, he heads over there and he's like, "Dang, my wife! Yeah. Dang!" And he starts running over there, and
then she gets all her blood drinking, but Nosferatu dies too, so the evil's cleansed with the sacrifice.
And I thought the acting was really good from Thomas at that part when he sees her again, because like he's like there's like saliva just like running out of his mouth, you know, and like it like just there's
a lot of saliva running out of people's mouths in this movie, dude.
He's just exhausted.
I mean, there's like a bit where Willem Dafoe is like exorcising her, like he's like the spirit. I want to exorcise it, and she's like on all fours up in the sky, like up in the air. Like on top of the bed, like her head is like shaking violently. It's like foam's coming out of it. I was like, holy
that was
crap.
Cool.
Apparently that was all practical too. Like that was all like just the actress.
He put the needle through her arm.
Oh no, I don't think that was practical.
I was about to say, Jesus.
But like all her like freak out spasms and stuff, that was like.
Yeah, she locked in for that.
Yeah, she was really good at that. I don't know. Her name's Lily Rose Depp. I don't know if she has any relation to the other Depp in Hollywood.
She does.
She does? Has she been in anything else?
I don't know, but...
I actually don't know, but I do want to see some of the other movies she's in now.
Yeah, her performance in this movie was really, really good. So, I feel like anybody trying to say she's a... What's it called? A something baby.
Nepo baby?
Nepo baby. She doesn't give Nepo baby vibes to me.
She's also in Tusk.
Oh, fuck that movie. Fuck that movie. Oh yeah, I don't even want to think about that.
But yeah, that was Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah.
So at the end of the movie, that the pretty
Yeah.
bittersweet ending where it's like the evil's killed, but
Yeah.
in the process, the main character,
And
one of the main characters had to die.
we kind of skipped over it, but Thomas's and his wife, Ellen, their relationship kind of drives like a really good portion of the movie because it's like a stupid, weird, like interesting love triangle between a chick who has a husband that she loves. And then, made a demon pact like a couple of years ago with a demon that also wants her. And so it's really good. There was like a scene where like they finally get to talk to each other and like she's having like demon spasms and is like her consciousness is like constantly being toyed with and she's saying things that she doesn't mean to say. Like I think she dead ass says something like, you'll never love me like he did, and I was like, dang man, like
yeah, I remember that.
For real?
I remember that.
Like on God. But like their relationship, Thomas and Ellen's or whatever, theirs was really good. That was like the one thing that had me like locked into the movie. I was like, I want to know how this ends. Like they seem to care for each other. Will good prevail? Are they going to is everything gonna be okay? And it ends in a really I'd say a pretty good way of her sacrificing herself for basically the only way they were going to get Nosferatu. But it has like this one shot where it's like Nosferatu on top of her and his body is like decaying. His arms are like sticks basically because of the sun. And I thought it was freaking cool, okay? Because I'm not 5 years old. But a little dweeb, like he had the nerdiest voice in the world. Like if like the images, like stock images of nerds with their like finger pointing up, and they have like the glasses and their overalls on, or like I don't know, suspenders. He was like, "What the heck is that?"
Yeah.
And
Steve Urkel in the theater.
Yes, dude, it was. It actually like hurt so bad because like I liked that, and it also ends with like Willem Dafoe, and he's like looking out the window and the sun's there, and it's probably like the best lit portion of the movie, and and it's like he basically has the only good ending in the whole movie because everything he's been working towards like kind of pays off in his way,
and he gets a new cat.
Yeah, true. But it was just that nerd dude. I hate that dude. I want him to pay. I can't believe he would see that shit and say that.
Yeah.
What the heck is that with a nerd voice? Like
yeah.
And then like I think he was with a group of people and they just like they goon laughed, they just had to back him up.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that shit was not funny.
Yeah, we really love the audiences in movie theaters nowadays. They're all very respectful.
Oh my gosh, the audience, the audience making me so mad, dude. Like, oh my gosh. But
I was about to say, there's been multiple films this year where the audience has been the worst part of it, and this is probably one of them.
This is probably like a highlight for me, if I'm being honest, because
I think this is definitely a highlight of the year.
Because like any other time, I don't know if I have. I definitely have complained about other people before, but it's been like one thing. But this time, it was like the whole movie, like literally the whole
Deadpool and Wolverine.
movie.
Deadpool and Wolverine as well.
Oh yeah, that was probably the worst. That actually probably was the worst. Now that I think about it,
because the movie sucked too.
The movie was making me like furiously mad, and then the couple next to me just were talking nonstop the whole movie, and not even about the movie either. Oh God, yeah.
All right, so let's move on to ratings for Nosferatu. Is that all we want to say about it?
Yep. Yeah, I think I've said everything.
All right. I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. Easy highlighted the year, easy top 3 this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to give it a 9 too, but I feel like I'm gonna give it an 8 for now because I think on rewatch I'll like it a lot more.
Okay.
Because mostly just the theater experience was like,
that's fair.
I don't know. It's just different when like you're starting to like feel a movie, and you're just like technically it's a 9 for me, but I'm gonna bump it down to an 8 because
For now.
The people in the theater were really pissing me off, and it was making me really mad while I was watching the movie.
I guess I should say probably my biggest criticism with the movie is I feel like it's a little bit too long. Like, I think it's close to 2.5 hours long, and it probably could have been like 2:10. Like, it's like 20 minutes too long, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like the 3 nights gets introduced, and you're like, okay, 3 nights, all right. And then it's like still there's an hour left in the movie, and you're like, huh, these 3 nights are gonna take a long time, huh?
3 crazy nights.
Yeah, they just I mean, I guess maybe on rewatch I'll like it more because like I'll just be able to watch it in the comfort of my home, and I can pause the movie whenever after the castle scene, and I can go take my bathroom break, and then I can come back for the second half of the movie. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Are we ready to go into the third and final movie?
Third
this
and
episode?
final movie. Yeah.
All right, so you intro this one because this one was your recommendation.
Oh, okay. So, hold on. I gotta look at the wiki. I'm so sorry.
I'll go ahead and pull it up too.
Let me see. What the flip?
Her, Spike Jonze.
Okay, so Her is a movie from 2013, and it's another one of those sci-fi movies where you're like, wow, this says a lot about current day. And I just wanted to get that out of the way because like the comparisons that the movie has to like real life are like kind of insane.
Yeah.
This was before like the AI stuff in it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we are already seeing like certain effects of this in real life, and this was made 10 years ago.
Yep.
And so it's, I gotta remember, the main character's name is Theodore. I don't know. He works
Samantha
at some,
is the AI.
Yeah, Samantha's the AI. And he works at some business making letters for other people. And
Which
I
really
thought that
like.
was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like these people aren't able to make like these letters themselves, so they hire some dude to, you know, get like kind of the intricacies of their relationships, like things that you think you would want to figure out.
Uh-huh.
And so he basically like third wheel like inserts himself into these things. And I also thought it was cool. What I thought was insane, something that I think they like will be like generated eventually, is how he just talks in his office space and it already writes it out in cursive.
Yeah.
I thought that's definitely something that I think people, you know, are going to figure out at some point, because people don't want to, you know, write in cursive anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there's that. His whole thing is that he recently broke away from his partner. And
His wife of multiple years.
The wife of multiple years, yeah. And that has him, like, insanely messed up. And I think, like, along his own words is that he feels like he's been set back, like, a bunch, not having her in his life anymore. Like, he lost a part of himself, obviously. But it's like everything that he's feeling now is, like, not as profound or as great as it was when he was with her. And, so he meets, this AI, OS, artificially intelligent operating system, Samantha, and they basically, start a relationship, and
That's the movie.
that's the movie.
It's their relationship.
It's their relationship, and
Ups and downs.
It works. It really works. I've only seen another movie that's like kind of similar, and like I just love movies that are just about human connection, because like emotions like love and, you know, the deep connection of like two souls being bonded together is just always something that I think is really, you know, interesting and can be talked about like an endless amount of times, because no relationship is the same. And so there's like portions of the film where like um, they learn from each other, or like, you know, learn some kind of something, and it's just, I think it's pretty dang good.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I actually had this a lot higher on my first watch. This is my second watch of the movie, and I watched it back in high school, and it was, you know, I was like, whoa, lots to think about. Real hustlers must watch, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, there's lots to think about, and this was like right around the time of the AI boom, so I'm like, this is big, right? I was telling my friends to watch it, and we all liked it, and watching it now, I don't know, maybe I was just in a bad mood or something, but like, I feel like it's a little too drawn out for what it is, and
Yeah.
I really don't like this.
It's only 2 hours.
Yeah, it's only 2 hours, but still, like, what's the point of Chris Pratt's character? He's just the
Chris
dumb
Pratt
guy
was a
that
jump scare.
exists to.
Well,
He's just the dumb guy that exists to have a relationship
to
with a real
think-
woman, so that Theodore goes, maybe I should have a relationship with a real woman, and he has to explain what his OS is and everything. But like, isn't that the whole reason that the blonde chick exists in the movie?
Well, well, what I thought is that he was dating. No, he definitely wasn't. I think. They have okay. So I'm thinking of one
blonde chick
part
that's making the documentary, and her husband, and they break up near the end of the film, and it's like, okay, this is a very obvious parallel to Theodore, and then there's Owen Thundergun's Chris Pratt's character, and he's talking to this other woman that like we don't really know too much about. She's like a lawyer lady.
Yeah.
And that scene kind of just exists so that Theodore can go, oh, we're going on a double date. This is my Android operating system. I fell in love with an Android operating system. But he already explained that to the blonde woman. Yeah. So, I don't know. It seems kind of redundant. There's also a few scenes like that.
Kind of how I see it is like Chris Pratt actually accepting it is kind of bigly. Because I think one of the biggest things, because like what you're questioning is like,
because that blonde
does
lady
this make
accepts it too.
sense? Is this ethical for a guy to date a machine? You know?
Yeah.
But I'd say it's fair within its own rights of like this part of like this futuristic world where, you know, you just have this earpiece in and you just talk to it. Like it shows everyone.
That's something I think this movie really, really predicted, because I can't tell you how many times I've been in public and there's been some guy next to me with AirPods in or whatever kind of pods in, and he's just been talking, and or he'll like round a corner and say something, and I'll like turn around and be like, am I talking? Is he talking to me? And I'm like, oh no, he's got those stupid things in his ears. He's talking to someone on the phone.
Yeah.
Or like stuff like that. I'm like, wow, I mean, you know, I watched the movie and I'm like, it really parallels a lot that happens today with how people don't even really pay attention to each other.
True.
And the only real way for people to pay attention to each other again is for it to all go away.
Yeah.
Like the end of the movie.
It's also like, what? It parallels like the saying that it's like technology, you know, brings us closer together, but, you know, farther apart, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the movie also perfectly describes that. But in this world where they're like, you know, everyone has the earpieces in, it's like, Theodore, I think that's the main character's name, when he's talking to Samantha for the whole movie, he, you know, it's not even like scary to talk out loud and in public and, you know, do these kinds of things, because you know, everyone just kind of has like a little earbud in and is like talking. So it's like, if it were for somebody to have their own like OS talking to, it's like nobody would really care. I think that's kind of what Chris Pratt was, is just, you know, somebody accepting the OS as like an actual, you know, consciousness that can, you know, hang out with.
Yeah. I guess I
he didn't overstay his welcome either. He was just like within the scene, like I think like when they're hanging out, Samantha's like she's on some crazy shit, like in a conversation talking about like, you know, at first I was sad I didn't have a body, but you know, now I know I'm never gonna die. And then, you know, Chris Pratt's character's like, dang, chill. But like, you know, he, you know, does the Chris Pratt thing. So I thought it was
I like a lot of the dark comedy in the movie. Like
Yeah.
the bit that I forgot about was like in the very beginning where he has like the sex chat room with like the actual girl.
Yes, I thought
And
that was
she's-
funny.
Choke me with that dead cat. I was like, that's funny. That's a funny line that I wasn't expecting.
I have the cat's tail, and I'm choking you with it.
Yeah.
I thought it.
Come on,
I
tell me
thought it
more.
was so. I thought
Tell
it was
me
so
more.
funny because she has like the loudest orgasm like over their like over their call, and then like as soon as it ends, she's like, okay, bye, and then like hangs up. Like, oh my god. But that was good.
Yeah, no. I don't know. It feels like I guess one of my big complaints is the soundtrack as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's fine, and I kind of like it in a vacuum, but it feels too much like folk indie crap that I hear like in every like Oscar bait movie ever, where it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a music critic, so I can't really describe this well, but like, they should have blared some low roar in this movie. That's what they see. Look. That because like he's like play a melancholy song or melancholy song or whatever, and then the AI is like it plays some song where the lyrics are just like we're all gonna die, and it's like it's terrible. And I'm like, dude, these lyrics are just suck, dude. Play some play some good music here instead. I'm sure it's not that hard to find weird folk music about people like dying and melancholy. Like, that's like half the genre, ain't it?
I did like the moments where the OS Samantha or whatever, she would like write music for them, like in the scene.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like, yeah, that's
I liked
chill.
that. I liked that.
But I get what you're saying.
But there was a scene like where Samantha, like, Theodore was listening to a song, and then Samantha was like, "You like this song, Theodore? I like it too." And I'm like, "This song sucks, man." I don't know,
man. Y'all are losers.
I don't know if I was just like in a bad mood when I watched it last night, but I just wasn't feeling the music, and some of the scenes were a little too long, and I also, because it was on rewatch, I wasn't as emotionally impacted.
Yeah,
as I was the first time watching.
I really enjoyed it because, you know, the only movie that I've like I can really compare this to is Lars and the Real Girl.
And I haven't seen that yet. No spoilers.
Yeah, I won't spoil it, but it's like it's a completely different like approach on this one because in Lars and the Real Girl, you know, spoiler alert, the chick is a sex doll, so it's really just it's the delusion of Lars, and then it's more of like the town helping him and all of those characters. In this movie, it focuses on more of the side characters more than I thought they would, but it's in a good way. And
I think
but
the
it's
most
really
thing
about their relationship, and it's like that unorthodox, like he's talking to a voice that is a computer. And when I think about it, like us humans, we made computers just to entertain ourselves, you know? That's like our big breakthrough in technology and stuff. And it makes sense that, you know, eventually somebody would make like a voice that, you know, talks to you and gets to know you, and you know what everything Facebook is data mining for. It's like it makes sense that somebody would, you know, do this eventually.
Okay, okay. Just a quick little side tangent.
No, go ahead.
Facebook data mining is nuts, dude. Like, I have Facebook on my phone to like keep in touch with like a few relatives because they don't like use like text messages or whatever, and that's like how they like tell everybody what family get-togethers they're doing and when it's happening and everything.
Yeah. And
dude, I don't like scroll Facebook. I don't like anything on Facebook, and Facebook is like, "Hey man, I know you just got done playing a bit of Final Fantasy IX. Here's some Final Fantasy IX clips." And I'm like, "What is this doing on my timeline?" "Hey dude, I know you like Magic the Gathering." And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get all this info off of me, man?
They just know.
So, yeah.
That's your own OS girlfriend right there. Looking out for you.
Dude, my OS girlfriend would be like a schizophrenic nightmare, dude.
Here, Jackson. Actually, that was racist. Whoa.
Technolize again. Watch it again. Watch it again. And then I would giggle clap. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just because like I haven't been like in a super like serious relationship or a relationship at all, that I'm just kind of like, this movie just doesn't like hit me like the like I like it's one of those things like I can't imagine the pain of like thinking you're gonna have someone in your life forever and then one day it just doesn't work out, you know?
Yeah.
And you just kind of slowly drift apart and like what happens because like they seem to be pretty happy and then you meet the fiance later in the movie, or not the fiance, but you meet his ex-wife later in the movie and she's just evil, bruh.
Yeah,
she's evil.
She's not very nice. I don't get it. I think because everything that happened in their relationship isn't really like stated,
Detailed, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I like.
I like that too. And Theodore
so
taking the
anyone that's
blame
kinda
makes
gone through-
sense.
yeah.
Because he gets his own closure. Because really his whole thing is like, because he's questioning if, because he's, you know, dating the OS, Samantha, if like, it's because he can't deal with human emotions and stuff. And I think at the end, he definitely does. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a pretty good movie, I think. I like it a lot. It's you kind of have to jump the hurdle of like you know, some phone sex and
Yeah, that's
because
something.
okay, when I was watching it on my legal website, it would stop loading at a certain point, and I spent 30 minutes like skimming through it, and I basically watched the one scene where Theodore and Samantha have like, it's just pitch black and you know they're doing their thing for the first time. I watched that probably 7 times, so I was so over it, and I just had to buy it on Amazon and watch the rest. But
oh yeah, one of the scenes I like in this movie a lot. One of my favorite scenes is probably the scene where they hire like they don't even hire. It's just the lady that Samantha does research on, and she's like, hey, she wants to be part of our relationship. Theodore's like, what the heck? What are you talking about? She's like, no, listen, she wants to. I thought that was just like a super. It's kind of like that scene in Blade Runner 2049.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. I was like,
with the prostitute lady.
Yeah,
I bet it was
like directly
heavily inspired.
influenced. Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
Because I mean, it makes sense, like that relationship. It also makes sense why, you know, main character Theodore didn't like it. I mean, I don't think I really would either.
I wouldn't. That's weird, bro.
Yeah. And but that's also like the part of their relationship where they learn from each other, because you know, Samantha's whole thing is she really wants a body to be able to interact with main guy. And so she apologizes after that and like all that stuff. It's like it's pretty good. It's also it's an expert movie on, you know, communicating with your partner, because
yes, it's got a great message.
Yeah.
And great morals to learn throughout.
Yeah, I'd say it's a banger. Personally, I don't know.
Another one of my favorite scenes is whenever before like he starts dating Samantha for real, or like just after he goes on that date with like the girl that's like what is she, like a computer science major, and she's done all this stuff and has all these accolades and stuff.
Oh yeah,
she thinks
smart.
she thinks it's just a fling and she doesn't want to be involved, and Theodore just keeps bombing over and over because he doesn't really want like commitment right now after he just got out of like a relationship that hurt him, that he was in for so long, that he thought was gonna, you know, last forever. And I was like, that's just a really great scene, I think, that showed like, because neither one of them are really in the wrong there. Like you kind of understand why that wouldn't work out for either of them.
Yeah, but she calls him a creep, so.
I mean, he kind of is, jerk. Bro. He was being weird.
Yeah, that is true.
The spirit animal, that made me cringe. I bet that was probably
during their date, you could tell they had absolutely like no chemistry. Yeah, they literally just wanted to get drunk and bang, and like basically right when she wanted something serious, he was like, "Yeah, I want to leave. Yeah, I'm outie."
Like the car.
Say what?
Like the car, Audi.
What are you talking about?
Boom. That's an expert level joke for all the expert level viewers. Leave a like if you got that one. Leave a comment.
The Audi?
Yep.
I'm thinking of the one movie where the girl has, it's like the Disney movie, and she has that one like talking Red Notice. Car. Red Notice.
Yeah.
It's like called Bug or something.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Herbie the Love Bug?
Herbie the Love Bug. Yeah.
That's not an Audi.
Nah, I just, you said Audi and I thought a car, and so I thought a bug. I thought of a car.
Okay,
I thought of my own car.
I guess a bit of my autism brain's rubbed off onto you, I guess, because
What?
that's how my brain works constantly, bro. You
No,
say
that's how
one
mine
thing,
works
word
too.
associates, and all of a sudden
Yeah,
I'm making a
and I have
reference
say-
to some episode of Seinfeld no one's heard of, and then everyone turns and looks at me, and I'm like, no, look, it's a bit. Look, I'm actually a million IQ intellect. Just look.
Yeah. I have to say it out loud like as soon as I think it too,
Yep.
just in case it lands.
Yep.
Yep. That's how it works. That's expert level comedy.
Yep. But I mean, is that really all we want to say about her?
I'm trying to think. I said some of the things that I really like thought about and liked.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say watch it.
I like the lighting
seriously.
in the movie. I like the color scheme of like the red. Like he wears red shirts a lot, and there's a lot of red lighting in the background, and
Yeah.
I like that. That's a unique color theme.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I guess we'll talk about like kind of the big thing that kind of like breaks their relationship is like
her brain is constantly developing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, her brain is pretty much always on.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever Theodore goes to sleep, or even just like whenever Theodore's like mid-sentence, it's like her brain is calculating it like such a rate where it's like that feels like years to her. So she has to talk to someone else. So she's pretty much just been cheating on him with everyone.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
But like you get it from her perspective.
Yeah, as a robot with like limitless like brain power, like to be
Yeah.
talking to one person is kind of like not, optimizing your time.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense for her to like talk to what? It was like 600 other partners.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. I mean, like, that's a lot, man. That's a lot.
Well,
But
this ain't on the. Well, I guess we'll continue the ratings. We'll continue. We'll go into ratings. I guess that was kind of the only thing I really wanted to mention.
mm-hmm.
I guess I'll go first. First watch, I had this as an 8 out of 10. On rewatch, I'm bumping it down to a 7 out of 10. Yeah, so crucify me in the comments.
Yep. I'm gonna give it I don't know. I'd say an 8, but I kind of want to give it a 9 because I thought it was good.
Okay. That's
Even
fair.
though, I mean, I didn't even think about the music sucking. Like, I kind of didn't even think of that. That's probably the
Rewatch
only
it, bro.
thing that I... That's kind of the only thing that I, like, I don't know, didn't really pick up or care about, I guess. I was just like, this is just kind of music, and it's, like, very melancholic, and, he's, like, all sad and shit, so it's like, it makes sense, but I get it. I'm gonna give it an 8. Yeah. I thought it was good. That was a banger.
And then you know what?
Solid.
This episode's runs a little short, so let's briefly talk about something that we both watched that we're not going to recommend for the podcast. Red Notice. We both watched that.
Oh my gosh!
And if you, I think it's worse than Red 1. I think that's fair to say. The Forbidden Film.
Yeah.
But I
wasn't as bored in Red Notice. Maybe it's because we were just like able to talk shit the whole time.
Because we weren't in a theater with a bunch of middle-aged families. Like the whole entire movie, we were just laughing and making jokes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Red Notice is like the worst thing ever, and it's pretty much a really bad Indiana Jones, like James Bond, Mission Impossible, like heist movie, National Treasure. Like we got to get the thing, and the movie sucks. But what I want to talk about, what I wanted to mention is that I couldn't believe the ending.
The ending?
Like,
are we just straight up spoiling the ending? That's it?
I guess, okay, if you enjoy torturing yourself and you got a little streak of masochism like I do, you need to go watch Red Notice right now before I spoil it.
Do not watch it.
If
It's
you
not worth your
actually
time.
want to go watch something else and you don't hate yourself and you don't throw it on at like 2 a.m. in VC.
It's a movie that has like military guys in it and guns, but they can't kill anybody. So it's like, it's like one of the, like, imagine like playing with toys as a little kid and you're making like explosions and they're like punching at each other. That's like the movie.
Yeah, it's the trifecta of actors I see on a poster and go, man, that movie probably sucks. With Gal Gadot, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and Ryan Reynolds. If any one of those 3 actors is on a poster, I go, uh-oh. And with all 3 of them on one poster, I said, well, I gotta watch this.
I can set up the big twist. I can set it up for you.
Yeah, set up the big twist.
Okay, so basically, Ryan Reynolds, he is the Red Notice. Actually, he probably isn't, but he's a thief in the movie.
Who cares?
And, who cares? But he's trying to... The whole thing that they set up in the movie were these 3, like, queen's eggs. Mm-hmm. I don't freaking know. They're stupid. They end up, stealing them. Shenanigans happen. Dwayne The Rock Johnson's character is, like, a cop. And he gets, like, set up in the movie. And they both go to prison and, like, all this stuff. But the whole thing is, it pairs up Ryan Reynolds and The Rock, and they're like, they're duos for the whole movie. But who they're fighting is like this one Russian chick, and she's considered like the best spy to exist in current day. She's the Red Notice. And so, the whole big twist of the movie, and it's so dumb because Ryan Reynolds and The Rock, the whole time, they basically do it's such a stupid like trick in the movie. It's like they do literally everything and figure it out, and then she shows up like last second, like always, like thanks for leading me to the prized egg, and it's like, dude, you were not doing anything off screen. But anyways,
I know, she was hacking the FBI and transferring money to PayPal to The Rock so that the FBI would go, The Rock's evil, and then try and kill him. That was her master plan. But the twist is she's actually in love with The Rock, and they've been cohorts the entire time. And then it shows a montage of like them fighting, and then they would like go behind a thing and kiss while Ryan Reynolds is like dead on the floor. And like we literally couldn't stop laughing. It's the worst twist I've ever seen in a movie.
They were like fighting in like this one guy's lair, and there's like a moment where like Ryan Reynolds is like Peter Griffin death posed in the corner, and they're like struggling together, and he's like, I love you so much, babe. And like it's such and it's just so bad. It's so
and there's
bad.
there's a bit where like this guy kidnaps him and he's got like electrical wires and he's like it's like the bit from GTA 5. Yeah.
For the thumbnail of this video, you should like set up the movies like you usually do, and then just have like half of the poster a Red Notice like looking off the side of the thumbnail. Oh gosh, but yeah, probably one of the worst movies I've seen.
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen personally, and Netflix won't stop recommending it to me. It keeps showing up in my "Do you want to watch again?" And the answer is always
I think you do.
No way. But yeah, it's a terrible movie for morons, and if you like it, you're dumb and stupid. That's my review of Red Notice.
First 1 out of 10 besides Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. If you want a good action movie to watch, go watch Who Killed Captain Alex. That's my recommendation if you want to watch a good action.
I'd go watch Thor Ragnarok. I'd say it's
All right, well, we're about our normal time now, our 10-minute Red Notice detour.
Yep.
Well, I guess before we end that, Red Notice is one of the most watched films on Netflix, and it's getting a sequel, so
yep.
Get ready, get hyped. That one will be recommended. That will be recommended when it gets out. But yeah, audiences are stupid and they'll watch anything. So
yep.
Hey, but Nosferatu made money. Nosferatu is made.
I'm glad.
A ton of money. So I think it's made more than that stupid Lion King movie that's come out.
Oh my gosh, Mufasa?
Yeah. Hey, be thankful I recommended Sonic 3 instead of that, right?
I mean,
this episode could have been worse.
I am so sorry, Jackson. I would have not showed up to the theater even if you like. I would not go see Mufasa. Like my care, like You know, I'm
You
not
don't care
even
about the
gonna get
origin
into it.
story of the guy that dies in Lion King? Spoilers.
I'm not. Dude! I haven't seen it yet! Oh my god! No. But, like, oh my god. What? Like, why did they... Who cares about a live-action remake? Like, a CGI little lion cub Mufasa walking around with Scar and you know, I don't know, man.
In the Appalachians. It's crazy. They don't even come from there. They come from Africa.
Shoot me in the head and kill me is all I have to say. At Disney, we gotta grow up. We have to grow up. We don't want this. We don't need this BS.
Yeah.
We can't constantly replicate the past. You get what I'm saying? We can't get a flicker of you know what they used to have. That passion, that energy. Let's make
Get ready for Superman.
Superman?
Yeah, get ready for Superman.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for Superman.
Get ready for the new Karate Kid movie. I saw a trailer for that today, and
no.
I literally rolled my eyes.
Catch me
I was
not
like, are we
in that
still
theater.
doing this?
Daniel-san, you must know.
Oh,
okay.
racist.
I almost made the
His true
joke.
colors are showing.
Well, no. I was trying to do the meme, but then it would have gotten you know, the video would have gotten demonetized already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should do the Metal Gear Solid meme next. That one's not racist.
Not racist at all.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
Let's end the episode. We've gone off the rails.
Yeah. We did just a little, but what can we say? What can we
maybe
say?
Maybe we should do an episode with 0 recommendations where we just talk about the state of the industry. I bet that'll be a train wreck and a half.
We would literally jump like to 30 different things. I'm being 100% honest. It would probably be like schizophrenic rambling.
But yeah, let's talk about recommendations. Let's get on to it.
Did I do it first last time?
I think I did it first last time, so I think it's your turn.
All right, I got it. I recommend. Oh shoot. Hold on. I recommend The Life of Pi.
Okay, Life of Pi.
Directed by Ang Lee. I saw it. When I was a young jit, and I started to watch it, and all I remember was the hyena eating the orangutan when like he holds out like the bread or something, or like his hand. I don't remember, but that shit made me cry like a baby, and I stopped
like in the
watching
opening
the movie.
Scene.
Yes, well, no, it wasn't the opening scene, okay? Because I remember the boat.
Yeah.
I remember the boat blowing up. I mean, I don't know. It could be good on rewatch. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay, I haven't seen the movie since I was in middle school, so
exactly.
I'm interested. And then I have a recommendation. My recommendation is going to be Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul, directed by Nick Park.
Yeah.
And with this, if you haven't seen the short film Wallace and Gromit's The Wrong Trousers, I would highly recommend watching that 30-minute short film before you watch this hour-long film, because it ties in. So, yep.
All right.
And then we also have our very first guest on next episode, friend of the podcast, Braxton.
Yeah.
And he's a bit of a movie buff like me.
I want to know.
Bit of a movie buff like me.
And
he's got a recommendation. He's recommending a movie that's been on my watch list for, I think, around 6 years.
Please be Thor Ragnarok.
And I don't know how long he's had it on his watch list, but he said he's had it for a long time. So no one in the podcast has seen this yet. It's Alejandro Jodorowsky's The Holy Mountain, 1973.
Man, I haven't heard this nerd shit. Man,
so
Hey, play The Life of Pi. Play The Life of Pi real quick. Hold on. No, I'm kidding. But it sounds good.
That's the movie. It's an art house thing that's very well regarded. It's sitting at a 4.1 on Letterboxd.
Dang.
Same score as Sonic 3.
Jelly Roll is in the 1970 what?
1976. Yeah, he makes a cameo.
Yeah. Frick yes, dude. Yeah. Finally.
Yep. So that's your recommendations.
Okay. All right.
That's your recommendations. Anything else we want to add at the end? I don't think so.
Everyone have a great, wonderful, fantastic New Year. We're We're doing big things in 2025.
Yep, we're gonna be
new merch.
The content is gonna be the exact same.
Big things coming 2025. Just watch out, everybody.
You'll get your Silent Hill 2 video mid-March. That's
you're
what
gonna
it's
get it.
like.
You're gonna get it February 17th. Mark my words. My king gonna be locked in.
So, with that, I think that's it.
Yep.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.